Hello everyone, welcome you all to the test number 9 of our UPSC fast track batch. First question, just listen it very carefully. With reference to the union government, consider the following statements. The Department of Revenue is responsible for the preparation of the union budget that is presented in the Parliament. No amount can be withdrawn from the consolidated fund without the authorization from the Parliament of India. All the disbursement made from public account of India also needs the authorization from the Parliament of India. Which of the statement given above are correct? Now very interesting question. Let's try to understand first option. See, the Department of Revenue is responsible. Is it Department of Revenue or it is Department of Economic Affairs? Yes, it is Department of Economic Affairs. Very, very important. Department of Economic Affairs is one of the most important department under Ministry of Finance, which is responsible for the preparation of union budget annually. Another important fact, just for your understanding or for your remembering, union budget is being formulated under Article 112 of the Indian Constitution. The word budget is not used anywhere in the Constitution. And third important point, Article 112 makes a mention about annual financial statement. Listen very carefully. Article 112 makes mention about annual financial statement. So basically first statement is wrong. If it is wrong, obviously they have asked which of these given statement are correct. So option A is gone and option D is gone. No amount can be withdrawn from the consolidated fund of India without authorization of the Parliament of India. Yes, this statement is correct. Why it is correct? Because Parliament of India is the custodian of public money. Remember this line very carefully. Parliament of India is the custodian of public money. In this way, when you want to spend money out of consolidated fund of India, you need permission of Parliament. It means you need parliamentary law. Remember, to spend any money out of consolidated fund of India, you need a parliamentary law. And this parliamentary law is available under Article 114. The name of that law is, remember, it is called as Appropriation Bill. Here, important line about examination, Appropriation Bill, it legalizes expenditure side of the government. So, second statement is correct. When second is correct, 2 and 3 now. All disbursement made from public account of India also needs the authorization from the Parliament. Now here, another important bit which I forgot to tell you, Consolidated Fund of India is consolidated under Article 266, whereas Public Account of India is also formulated under Article 266. There is third fund which is called as Contingency Fund of India. This Contingency Fund of India is formulated under Article 267, right? So, to spend money out of public account of India, you need executive permission, which means you need permission of the minister. So, here the question of parliamentary permission does not come into picture. So, third statement is wrong. Correct option is 2 only, right? Now, here one a quick summary. To spend money out of consolidated fund of India, you need permission of Parliament. You will get this permission of Parliament under Article 114. It is called as Appropriation Bill. Then to spend money out of public account of India, you need executive permission. That is permission of all the ministers. And to spend money out of Contingency Fund of India, you need permission of President of India. And on behalf of President of India, this permission is being given by Finance Secretary. It is signature of Finance Secretary which is required to spend money out of Contingency Fund of India. Clear? This is very, very important. Now coming to second question of today's test. Who or which of the following is the custodian of the Constitution of India? The President of India, the Prime Minister of India, the Lok Sabha Secretariat, the Supreme Court of India. The question is very straightforward and it is the Supreme Court of India. Very, very important. Here just an information for you. Supreme Court of India was founded on 26th of January 1950. Another important line which could be asked in UPSC prelims examination is, we have single judicial system, we have integrated judicial system for both center and state. So these two are the questions. Now today we will go for some of the very, very interesting questions from the economic section. Now first, with reference to Indian economy, consider the following statements. The rate of growth of real domestic product, here the word is real domestic product, has steadily increased in the last decade. Second statement, the gross domestic product at market price in rupees has steadily increased in the last decade. Now just a simple information for you, these two concepts are there. One is called as real GDP and second is called as nominal GDP. Very interesting concepts are there. When GDP is counted at base year price, when GDP is counted at base year price, it is real GDP. Whereas when GDP is counted at current year price, it is called as nominal GDP, current year price, right? So here this particular, in this case, base year or real GDP gives us realistic picture. Now let's go for the question. What it says, first statement, the rate of growth of real GDP has steadily increased in the last decade. See, in last decade we have seen many more financial turmoils in the world economy, like there was subprime mortgage crisis, then there was Eurozone crisis, then there was Chinese economic slowdown. All these things were there, and this was also the reason Indian GDP, which was counted at base year, has declined steadily. So first statement is wrong. Whereas GDP, which is counted at market price, when we count GDP at market price, it is called as nominal GDP. We have seen, due to all these financial turmoils, there had been persistent inflation in the market, and when there is more and more inflation, current year prices are always higher, and when current year prices are higher, it gives you higher price for GDP. So it is obvious that our nominal GDP was consistently higher in last decade. So only second statement is correct. See, you will not get a question which is straightforward. Always you have to think in terms of the question, you have to think in terms of the different aspects of the question, right? Coming to question number 4. With reference to the Indian economy, consider the following statements, following things: bank rate, open market operations, public debt, public revenue. Which of the above is our component of the monetary policy? Now here let us go for first information thing, monetary policy. Here remember, monetary policy is being made by monetary policy committee. Most important thing, remember, monetary policy is made by monetary policy committee and it is implemented by RBI. This is new development, right? So it is implemented by Reserve Bank of India. Many of you might have this confusion about monetary policy, so clear this confusion. Monetary policy is not made by RBI. Monetary policy is made by monetary policy committee and it is implemented by Reserve Bank of India. So here, which of the two things are part of monetary policy? Question is very straightforward. Option is C. First two are the part of monetary policy and others are part of fiscal policy. What is fiscal policy? It is income and expenditure policy of the government of India is a fiscal policy. So this is the part of fiscal policy of the government of any government, fiscal policy, right? Now what is bank rate? Another important word which is being used for bank rate, it is also called as discount rate. This word every one of you should know. Bank rate is also called as discount rate. Bank rate is the rate of interest charged by the RBI for providing funds or loans to the banking system. This banking system involves commercial and cooperative banks, Industrial Development Bank of India, IFC, Exim Bank and other approved financial institutions. Clear? This is very clear thinking. Now what are other aspects of monetary policy? Just to know you, listen it very carefully. One is CRR, that is cash reserve ratio, then SLR, statutory liquidity ratio, then next one is credit ceiling, that is putting a limit on amount of credit given by financial institutions, then credit authorization scheme, then moral suasion, and last one repo and reverse repo. So these are certain aspects of the monetary policy, right? Next question, with reference to inflation in India, which of the following statement is are correct? Controlling inflation in India is the responsibility of the government of India only. See, here the word only, whenever the word only comes, remember it is ऑलवेज अ काइंड ऑफ व्हाट वी कैन से, हम जिसको धोखा कहते हैं, धोखा भी हो सकता है, यहाँ पे आपको फंसाना भी हो सकता है. सो दिस फर्स्ट स्टेटमेंट, लेट्स गो कॉशियसली. Reserve Bank of India has no role. Now again a blunder statement, no role in controlling the inflation. So see, if Reserve Bank of India has no role in controlling inflation, then it should be the role of RBI, Government of India. But here they are saying Government of India has the only role. So these two statements contradict each other. So this A and B are gone. Decreasing money circulation helps in controlling inflation. Yes, it is true statement. Why? Because when there is less and less money, this money will run behind less and less goods and services. It will reduces the demand for goods and services, and the reduced demand for goods and services will help in controlling the inflation. So this is the most important aspect of the controlling inflation. Right. Next question. The substitution of steel for wooden plow in agriculture production is an example of labor augmenting technological process, capital augmenting technological process, capital reducing technological progress, none of the above. See, now whenever if you are not aware about these kinds of questions, so here remember they have tried to create a confusion between these two statements. It means answer lies in these two statements. It is always there. It always happen. If you go through previous year's question paper of UPSC, you will realize that these kinds of statements or misleading statements are given to create a confusion in the minds of the aspirant. Now what is meaning of labor augmenting technology? See, a technology which enables labor improvement and upgrade its quality or skill as for the development of industry or for the development of labor is labor augmenting technology. For example, the use of video conferencing and other satellite teaching programs is a labor augmenting technological process. Whereas what is meaning of capital augmenting technological progress? It results in the more productive use of existing capital goods. Remember the meaning of capital augmenting technological process, it is more productive use of existing capital goods. For example, the substitution of steel from wooden plow in agricultural production. So basically the most correct option is capital augmenting technological progress. Then question number 17. The problem of international liquidity is related to the non-availability of goods and services, gold and silver, dollars and other hard currencies, exportable surplus. Clear? I have posted a video on our Nandeep IAS YouTube channel about what is meaning of hard currency. Please go through the meaning of hard currency, you will get an idea. Here correct answer is that it is non-availability of dollars and other hard currencies. Why? Because what is meaning of liquidity? In simple term, the amount of currency available in market in circulation is called as international liquidity. So remember, it is a kind of monetary tool to make available all these foreign currencies. Now here, for your understanding, under present current economic situation, present international monetary order among the member countries of the International Monetary Fund, the chief components of the international liquidity structure are: first one is gold reserve with the national monetary authorities like central bank and also with the International Monetary Fund. So first part of international liquidity is gold reserves, right? It is gold reserves. Then second component is dollar reserves of countries other than USA. It is dollar reserves other than USA. And third is, it is pound reserve or sterling reserve of countries other than UK. Sterling. Third one is sterling. So remember, these three are the components of a international liquidity related to the current market. Clear? Then question number 18. Interesting question. Which one of the following best describes the main objective of seed village concept? Now see, many of you may not have read this concept of seed village concept. What is seed village? But you can have a logic about what could be seed village. So we will try to come to answer from your logic. Encouraging farmers to use their own farm seeds and discouraging them to buy seeds from others. See, in case of seed village concept, we do not discourage anyone from buying seed from others. Here we are talking about others could be, it could be government institution, it could be cooperative institution, it could be private institution, or it could be other farmers. So this is a negative aspect of discouraging farmers to buy seed from others. So first option is gone. Then involving farmers for training in quality seed production and thereby to make available quality seeds to others at appropriate time and affordable cost. We will keep it in limbo. Let's think about it. And third one, earmarking some villages exclusively for the production of certified seeds. See, it is very difficult to earmark the villages. Why? Villagers will oppose this thing. Identifying the entrepreneurs in villages and providing them technology and finances to set up seed companies. This is somewhat unrealistic target. So ultimately, what is the answer? B. Question number 19. There has been persistent deficit budget year after year. Which of the following actions can be taken by the government to reduce the deficit? See, here first thing, what is meaning of deficit budget? Here expenditure of the government is always more than income of the government. Expenditure of the government is always more than income. It is a deficit budget. How we can reduce it? By reducing revenue expenditure. Yes, true. Why? Remember, first thing, revenue expenditure is a short term expenditure. It is consumption expenditure. Revenue expenditure is short term expenditure. Consumption expenditure, it is also called as only maintenance expenditure, right? And most important thing, revenue expenditure do not create capital asset. So it is always good thing to reduce your revenue expenditure, right? So first is correct. If first is correct, B option is gone. Introducing new welfare scheme. See, whenever we are going to introduce new welfare scheme, obviously it is going to increase your expenditure, and if your expenditure is increased, obviously your deficit budget is going to increase every time. So second option is wrong. When second option is wrong, this D option is gone. Rationalizing subsidies, that is providing subsidies to appropriate sectors in an appropriate manner. So third is correct. In this way, the correct option is A. Expanding industries, no. Last question. Pradhan Mantri Jan Dhan Yojana has been launched for providing housing loan to poor people at cheaper interest rate. No. Promoting women's self-help group in backward areas, could be there. Promoting financial inclusion in the country, one of the most correct options. So C is correct option. Just an information about this. See, here remember one thing. Pradhan Mantri Jan Dhan Yojana was launched by Prime Minister on 28th of August 2014. It is a national mission for financial inclusion to ensure access to financial services. The services are banking, saving and deposit accounts, remittances, credit, insurance, pension in an affordable manner. I will just write down all these services because these are very, very important for you. See, or just listen it again and again. Thank you very much. Have a good day. Thank you.